All right, I believe we're streaming now. So if you guys are here, again, like always, say hi in the comments. Let us know if you can actually hear us. I think, I think the mic's over here. So, I don't know. We put it.
Where did you put it last time?
I put it right here. Like I had it on me. If you guys can hear us, fine. If not, let us know. Okay. We need the feedback. Let me see. I'll put it here. Like there.
And right in the middle.
Oh yeah. Okay. Must be kind of boring right now. But we're going live. We're live now. We're going to be talking about prime lenses. I wanted to kind of keep a theme to every video that we do live, and we came up with a name finally for this whole thing where we go live and talk with other photographers, and it's called Portraits, Pizza, and Photography, I believe. But yeah, special guest today is Jeff Antons. He's a portrait photographer. Would you consider yourself portraits or?
I try to get like everything. I'll hold it.
I'm gonna make sure that we're actually live.
Okay.
But
I try to cover everything. Definitely when it comes to photography, I'd say the majority of what I do would be portraits. But I definitely like to dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live. Awesome.
Yeah. Did you? Because he's told me that he was gonna do a portrait shoot today. Were you able to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you did do that.
It was super chill. It was just like, like when you grab a friend and then you just, hey, let's go over to this like spot and just hang out with a friend. You're not using flash or anything, natural light, and you're just snapping away.
It was natural light.
Yeah.
And it was. For those of you who don't shoot with natural light, or who don't do really portrait photography a lot, have you guys ever tried it out? Shooting in like on a cloudy day, because I want to say it was cloudy today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so more than likely a cloudy day is going to be ideal for anybody who might not be super experienced with photography in general, just because the lights should be even throughout and, not challenging. In other words, like with a harsh sunny day where you might need a diffuser. Yeah, so clouds are, it's pretty nice and relaxed when you're shooting on a cloudy day. But it's like a question that everybody always asks to themselves when they do a photo shoot is like, do you think you got some great shots, some good shots?
For
yeah,
me?
yeah, for you.
There's a few. Yeah, I did a little bit of reviewing on the photos. There's some good stuff, but again, the style that we shoot a lot, because I don't do a lot of natural light. I'm like, I'll really find out kind of when I get home. I start going through them, and it's a different process. It's just for fun. We all as photographers got to keep up our practice and try things we don't always do.
Yeah, I think for the most part, because you mentioned like when you get back to the computer, like that's when you really figure out if you got some good shots. And I think more often than not, a lot of photographers out there have experienced that, where you thought you had a good shot, but then depending on things like the brightness of the LCD screen or not zooming in and chimping. I don't like that word because I always chimp. I want to make sure the shot is good, but I always check my focus and other things like that. I don't really check my histogram. I'm not a histogram checker, but yeah, like checking your photos when you get to the computer. That's when I really kind of figure out, okay, this shot is pretty good, and this other shot that I thought was good is not so good. But yeah, but what I did want to highlight that. The LCD brightness, because I think in the past week, a couple people have asked me, why did my shot come out darker when I thought it looked good? And that has to be the LCD brightness. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
I'll hold the mic. Well, I know you're still setting stuff up. I'm
facilitating here, but I'm still new to this, guys.
Okay. I'll chit chat for a moment while he finishes setting up. Just regarding, I guess we're on the topic of reviewing photos while you're out in the field shooting, especially during the day and whatnot. I've noticed you have the electronic viewfinder.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I've always been jealous of, because you're like, you put that up to your eye and then it's like putting on a little VR helmet and you can see everything perfect. In my experience, I'm shooting with a much older camera, and I can tell you the screen is not as good. The colors don't look right. The brightness and the exposure. I've learned to not trust the screen on my camera.
What camera are you using?
This guy here. So this is This is the 5D Mark II.
Oh, 5D Mark II.
Yeah.
You know, for a while, I want to quickly mention, for a while, before when I was shooting with Canon, I had the Canon 60D. A lot of people were saying that was the camera to get. And I wanted that one for the longest time. I honestly did. But I ended up getting the cheaper, well, the newer, kind of similar price range Canon 60. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's a good camera.
There's something about this camera. Obviously, I just have it because it's what I could afford. It does have its own little aesthetic with the photos. They look really cool and it works, but the technology, you can tell, is outdated. The screen on this thing is... I can't ever trust it. When I'm out shooting, I just have to go from like experience knowing, okay, I'm pretty sure I got the shot. It's almost like back in the day when you'd shoot with film and you don't really know what you have until you get to the computer or you get to like developing them. It's kind of the same idea.
Oh, yeah.
This one, I don't really know what I have until I get back. So when I review the photos, it's kind of hard to tell what I get. But, you know, that's what you deal when you got a slightly older camera. It's cool though.
Yeah, like he said before, like depending on the camera that you have, if you have a new camera, of course, you're going to be able to like have more accurate like brightness and stuff. But like he mentioned before with the EVF on Sony systems, like even with the older, like the A6000, which is like their cheapest great camera, even with that one, the EVF is still really awesome. Even though it's not up to par with like the latest Sony cameras. So that's something that I honestly really liked with the Sony system. The main reason why I switched was because of the eye autofocus. But yeah, I discovered like other things like that was pretty handy to have. Quick thing, if you can hear us fine, like even if we're like this or something, let us know. Just so I can adjust the levels. And if the exposure is fine, let us know as well. But I don't even know where to put this.
Just put it right there.
The picture? How would I even put it there? From the side?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so there you go. It's there. All right, guys.
It might look weird, but...
It's for now. Eventually I'll get like a boom or something. But yeah, if you guys... Because I wanted to keep these little live videos not just about one thing, which I kind of want to delve into in a little bit. So this is kind of like a pre kind of show. My friend Jason Vaughn calls these like parts where you're just kind of talking about certain things, random things, the pre-show. And I think that's like a good way to describe it because it's like eventually I do want to talk about the main subject, which is prime lenses, and specifically the Sigma Art 105 1.4 aperture lens. That one's gonna be insane, and I actually pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it like 12 hours late though, so I don't know if that's a big thing or if it's gonna causing me to be getting that lens later, but hopefully not. But yeah.
Some questions.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and see if you guys have any questions. If you haven't asked any questions, or if you're curious about anything that he might be shooting or I'm shooting or anything at all, let us know in the chat, and so we can answer those questions.
Yeah, now we can see ourselves. At this whole point, we haven't even. We're just talking to a random camera at the back of the room.
Yeah. You can't even shoot. Like this is us, but it's like I don't know, 10-second late. So yeah.
Yeah, that's still good. Well, now I can see we're talking to people, and I feel more comfortable now.
Yeah, Ashley usually facilitates the comments and stuff, so I haven't, I'm going to have to, for now, for this live video, I'm going to have to check the comments over here. So every now and then I'm going to be like this. And actually, I'm calling this live sort of thing, this kind of bit of a podcast. I do want to make it a podcast, but of course I'll edit that to be, where stuff like I'm talking right now. But it's going to be about us talking and also eating pizza. And we actually do have pizza here.
No, I've already started.
And he's already started. I haven't. I have my Pepsis over here. What do you guys drink? I have Pepsi with Michael Jackson on them. And we're just eating Domino's. I think last time we ate Domino's as well with Eli. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go ahead and see if you guys have any questions. Again, if you want to ask questions, go ahead and let us know. Let's see. So, hey to Jasper, to Naruto Rules. Ashley's over here saying hi.
We can hear you.
All these people. Yeah. Greetings from Catamarca, Argentina. Awesome.
Argentina.
I don't even know what time it is over there. Michael, Lewis, everybody else who's talking in here, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the questions now. Let's see. How would you deal with clients that do not want to pay you? Wow. Okay. You want to go ahead and tackle that? Yeah. No. Well, he ate a pizza already. I didn't, so I'll let you take the question, and then I'll. Well, you know what? I kind of want to take this off because I don't know if I'm gonna be eating and it's gonna be like louder than you.
I don't think so.
No, it shouldn't, right?
Have a, like, little stand or something right here for it. You have something to put it on?
Yeah, because I don't want to be holding it this whole time.
That's weird.
You know what?
What if we just set it down and see if they can like actually just hear us?
Yeah, I'm gonna let us know the audio levels from here to just let's see, right there. Let us know if it's different right there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, if you guys can't hear us right now, let me know. And if I should move it, then let me know. But
that question.
Yeah,
how would you deal with clients that do not want to pay you?
I'll hold it for now because I think it's gonna be a little low.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really have any. I'm not like the experienced guy on that question.
Yeah, keep in mind we're not like doing like workshops on business all around the world. We're still kind of figuring out certain things that we may or may not like, and clients as well. But when it comes to that, do you have any experience of somebody who's not wanting to pay you after you delivered?
Not directly. I guess I've just had good luck. Everybody's been pretty cool with it. But I will say, like, from the personal conversations that I've had with other people that have experienced it, I think the one thing that everybody always says is contracts.
Yeah.
Contracts.
Yep.
And as myself, always feeling like, oh, I'm an artist type. I don't want to deal with business, even though it's definitely a part of what we do. Contracts, just most of the time I'm doing stuff with people that are personal friends of mine, people that I know really well. So I'm not really not too picky on like the contracts thing. It's a lot more just go with the flow. And I've just been lucky enough. I've never really had an issue with it. But if you're going to be dealing with people, the clients that you aren't very close with, there's plenty of resources online for just generic contracts, and then that way you have something to go back to if somebody refuses to pay you. And then just like anything else out there, you can just research Google, this legal process.
So one thing that I'm probably curious that maybe some of you guys have been wondering right now is how long have you been shooting? So so you can see kind of because some people might be thinking pessimistically, like not yet, like you haven't experienced that yet. But some people might be like, okay, cool. What is he doing right? In other words,
should we have ideally like introduce? I mean, they probably know you better. Maybe we should have like introduced me a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make these live videos with a guest, but we briefly introduced him in the beginning of this kind of the video. But let's talk a little bit more. Yeah. What are you? How long? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give a little background. So, if you do want to ask questions, maybe like what kind of questions would suit
you guys probably know me more so than you know him, but he's an awesome photographer. He's learned so much in such a short amount of time that it's crazy. So I think it's a good brain to pick. So
how can I put it in a general sense? I mean, I've been shooting for long time. I've always had, even since I was like a little kid, I've always had some interest I've always been the artistic type. I remember even just when I was a little guy, back in the family, we'd go on vacations, we had film cameras, and I always wanted to get my hands on them. Fast forward the introduction of the very first digital cameras way back in the day, 1.2 megapixels, something crazy like that. And luckily my dad was like, he's all into like the new cool tech and whatnot. He's like a tech guy. So.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was really lucky. I was stoked. I was like, dude, you got a digital camera. And so I naturally grabbed that and I just shot with it and shot. I had no idea what I was doing. Granted, I was probably like, I don't know what year that was. It was a long time ago. I was a little kid and I just always loved shooting. It wasn't until I think when I actually decided that like I want to pursue and actually learn about photography stuff, it was probably like I want to say around 15 years ago or so.
15 years?
Yeah. I
the
know.
heck?
You're like, what have you been doing this whole time?
I thought you were shooting for like...
No, but okay, there's a reason why I'm only where I'm at in a matter of 15 years. I'm more a musician. I would say I'm more of a musician than I am a photographer. I'm a drummer. And so ever since before high school and throughout high school and after that, all I've been doing is just playing music in a band, working my jobs, doing music. So photography was my other artistic outlet that I always had on the side. But as far as really learning, putting in time, that was always music. It wasn't until, my first DSLR, there was some break in the music to where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put some time, I'm gonna learn more into the photography. And I was like, okay, I need to get a DSLR at this point.
Was that recent?
No, that was, I do know my first camera was like a Canon T2i, whenever that came out. Cool. Was that like 2012, 13?
I want to say somewhere in there, because I know there was the Rebel series, XS, XT, XTI. So
maybe somebody can tell us.
Yeah, maybe
we
you guys...
didn't hear Jeff. Oh, maybe I should like figure out if they can hear me.
Yeah, I think you can hear you now, but this was earlier when I had the microphone down.
Okay.
See, this is most recent stuff.
Gotcha. Heard you.
Making the music videos.
Yeah. Okay, so back to what I was saying. My first camera was a T2i.
Domino's. Domino's is sponsored. But
so I would say that's when I first started my journey into like photography. And then just like any standard newbie learning, utilizing, luckily YouTube was a good prominent thing at that point, and I learned a lot through there.
What are some of the things that you think that took you longer to learn, and what were some things that were easier for you to learn?
Easy for me to learn.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people are wondering about.
Probably just kind of like the composition and weird angles and stuff. I don't know why I just always loved just like kind of getting in there. I started doing video like same time I was doing photo, and I just always liked the angle. So probably I'd say the different categories are like your physical composition work, there's your lighting, there's your post-processing, your editing and all that. My lighting probably came a lot later to when I actually started paying attention to that. And my editing has just been gradually progressing through the years. I don't think there's anything that really stood out as something that was like difficult and like specifically. It was just all even amounts of information gained over the years. And then fast forward to, you meeting me just a year or two ago.
I can't remember. I have bad memory.
I remember. It was that group photo shoot there in Mercedes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we should tell. You want to tell the story about how I found this guy?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
Well, I'm here in studio mode where like cameras on me, lights on me. I'm like, I can't think. I'm eating pizza. So
I'll tell the story if we have like no time restraints and if people really care.
We're gonna keep it like at least like an hour, because again, this is gonna be somewhat of a podcast. I am gonna kind of like cut some of the fat of the video and make it into a podcast. So
just without rambling, but doing like the short version of the story, because this is a good segue, or it all wraps up into the same thing. I'm sitting at home. This is like a year or two ago, doing my researching. I forget what I was shooting with at the time, but I'm trying to learn my photography stuff. And somewhere along the line, I first heard about people shooting with high-speed sync.
Oh.
I saw some photos, and throughout the years, I've seen really cool photos of people like in daytime, but like the sky was like nice and dark. It wasn't super bright and overexposed, but the people looked nice. And I was like, what? I was really inspired by those photos, so I started searching, and I was like, somehow I came across like high-speed sync, not really knowing what that is. I mean, I know now, but so I just, I dived into the rabbit hole looking up videos, and so I actually ended up coming across, I was on YouTube, and I was like, okay, he's got a video on doing some high-speed sync or something shooting, and then I was looking at the video, it was down at Archer Park, and I was like,
Oh, the couple photo shoot?
The what?
The couple?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, that area looks really familiar. Like, that looks like here in McAllen.
Yeah.
And so then I like started looking on his channel and researching, who is this guy? I was like, it like blew my mind. He's from here. He's in the same city that I live in. Like, what were the odds? What were the chances? So I messaged him. I think it's through YouTube or something. Right. I was like, dude, I love your stuff, but we live in like the same city. Like, we should we should do this. Yeah. And it was like that same week you mentioned, dude, there's a group shoot coming up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to show up to that. And then...
Yeah, and I think I actually took your portrait real quick. Because I was like, this guy was cool. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he had the shades on. I think you had a hat. I think no,
but I had the shades.
Shades, I remember, because he looked very cool, like rocker. Or I don't know, I'm bad with words and descriptions, but he looked very cool. So I was like, let me take your photo. So I took a photo of him. I wish, maybe that'd be cool if I had just popped it up here in advance, but I don't. But just imagine him looking cool in a nice sunny day. I think it was like a really bad time. Like, it was like in time of day, like for
it was like mid-noon.
Right? It was yeah, it was hot, and it was like 1 p.m. maybe. I don't know, somewhere where the sun was high, not at an angle. Mm-hmm. And if you guys know my work at all, I do like when the sun's lower because it's directional and it creates drama in the shadows, in the surroundings, in the like whatever's around. It's a little bit more drama, and I love shooting with drama. So when it's like more towards high noon and 1 o'clock and stuff,
what do you do with it?
You really gotta manipulate it, or you're limited in a couple of ways. But
crazy, right? So full circle cool. Now.
That's really cool.
Now I'm chilling here on your channel and we're talking.
Yeah.
All from that time I was researching, learning about photography, which I do in my free time, and now we're talking about it. It's crazy.
That's what I like about photography. That's like one of my main loves when it comes to photography, is that through shared interest, and it's cool because photography is not as simple as like, maybe I'm simplifying drawing, but like, there's probably different ways of drawing and stuff, but when it comes to photography, I think there's so many elements that come together that, a lot of people can have different kind of genres that they stick to and like. And there's a lot of elements that are involved with photography, that the composition, the editing, the style, the human interaction when it comes to portraits, that I think that it's very open, so that when you kind of talk about photography and learn a bit more about certain types of photography, you kind of gravitate towards people who have that shared interest that's more than just photography, but more the style of photography as well. So I think it's cool that you can get to know people from the shared interest of the specific type of photography.
That's right.
So it's really cool. Yeah, like, so I met Jeff through that. Like, I guess, one of the main benefits of YouTube is that you get to find other people who, might want to learn about something that you might know about more. So that's pretty cool, because we live in the same-ish area. And for those of you who don't know where we live in South Texas. And would you call it like the RGV? Is that what the RGV?
Well, we're a hot topic right now across the entire nation.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
Everybody knows where we're at right now.
Yeah, right now, there's a lot.
If you've been hearing about the kids getting separated from their parents, the immigrants, and them throwing them in cages and all that.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible stuff.
There's a viral photo from McAllen.
Where?
From McAllen, and I live in Mission. It's a town called Mission, and it's right next to McAllen. Like, we're right directly next to each other.
Yeah.
So so if you guys are not interested, you didn't know about South Texas lately, well, maybe you do now. Mm-hmm. But this area, I don't want to say it's some area where, because I think this happens for most people, where they say, oh, nobody knows where I live, or nobody knows where I live, unless you live in a big city. Well, RGV, the Rio Grande Valley, I'm like butchering how you say that probably, but South Texas, where we live, there's like its own little culture of people here.
True. And
it's like, if you don't know where, us or in our area, then it's like, I don't know where I was going with that train of thought, honestly.
On the photo stuff?
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's cool because, like, it's not so common where we live, and yet we were able to find each other. And a couple of other photographers in the area. I did this First Pizza podcast thing a couple weeks, maybe a week or two ago, with my friend Eli. and we met each other through a group photo shoot as well. So that was pretty cool. I think we're gonna get far off into the topic. I want to go into the main topic soon, but I'm just talking about the main point that, you know, through photography, we were able to meet each other. And I mentioned it in the last podcast, but specifically with Eli's case, like, well, actually, you know what? It also happened with the Mercedes case when we met each other. Sometimes, and I want to emphasize this, sometimes I feel like not doing anything that day. Sometimes I feel like just being lazy. I think we all struggle with this maybe. Yeah. But that specific day and other times where I wanted to just be lazy and stay home, you know, I think there's a comedian by the name of John Mulaney. He said one of the best highs that you can have is canceling plans. And like, I'm guilty of that. But specifically with photography, I kick myself to go to these meetups, to go travel in other areas. And, you know, it's ended up benefiting me more, like, every single time. So I met Jeff, I met my friend Eli, my friend Roland. And, you know, just go ahead and take the effort and the initiative to go do these things. I don't know about you.
I moved here not knowing a single person, and it really didn't take very long to get into the scene, the music scene here as well. I had to at first put myself out there, like literally showing up to places I've never been to in a sea of people that I've never met. It is very uncomfortable. I'm not good around like strangers. I've done that in the music scene. I've done that at that first meetup in Mercedes. I was so out of place. I didn't know a single person there. But once, like, literally an hour later, I'm
at ease and
way
relaxed,
better.
right?
Yeah, so you got to take that first step.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love talking to random people now. Like if I knew the language in my area, I know a little bit of Spanish, but not to the point where I'll approach somebody talking Spanish. But I'm super comfortable talking to random strangers now. But years ago, it was completely different. Especially when I started to doing like photography, for portrait photography, you have to have that ability to not only just talk to the subject, but talk to them in a certain way where they're at ease. So, you know, you can take their portraits in a good way. You know, you can take portraits of anybody, like, easily, but that portrait may or may not look good depending on how the interaction is. So if there's like lack of confidence in that person, and of course they're gonna be like not posing the best, and that's something that was gonna be like literally visibly able to see that in the photo. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, photography's been awesome to me in more ways than one, and that being able to talk to people now a lot more relaxed is something. And doing through YouTube, I'm able to talk to the camera a little bit more better too. Yeah. I'm gonna go quickly through the questions that I might have missed right now, and then I want to talk into the main thing that we were going to talk about today, which is the Sigma Art 105 1.4. So let me go ahead and see. Joseph, I didn't miss your question. On the subject of current questions, how do you feel about late payment penalties and contracts? They're pretty common for wholesale goods, but I've never seen one for photos. For me specifically, one of my main things that I kind of not want to talk about business so much, because I feel like I'm still kind of like developing in that area, and I don't want to give bad advice, in other words. But I do have some, like, I know that there's some things that you should do. And when it comes to anything, when it comes to payments and doing photography in the sort of business sense, I think you would definitely have to be clear ahead of time with anything, whether it be late fees, whether it be album fees. You know, there was that one case in the news, the photo news world, like last year, about somebody withholding the album because of like an album fee or something. You definitely want to be clear ahead of time so that you don't surprise the client or whatever with a fee, and they're like, whoa, why did this come up? You know, they'll know, in other words. I don't know about you, like.
I don't really have any advice. Like,
yeah,
when it comes to the business stuff, I'm really not great with it, and I'm a people pleaser, so I'm always way too nice to everybody. Oh, I can't pay you right now, something. I could be like totally broke, and I'm gonna be late on my payments. It's okay, just whenever you can. It's okay.
When it comes to like the business part, the heads collide for me. For my mom is very much a business person. She's a nice person, but she's very business oriented. My dad, in other words, he was the exact opposite. Like he said, I could be completely broke, struggling to find money, but my dad would be like in that case, and then he'd be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. So I think I got more of my dad's sensibility more than my mom's, even though I do know that my mom's is there, like the business sense is there, but I'm like, it's fine. I'd rather them be fine. But I've gotten a lot to the point where I struggle with that, and I'm still struggling. But you definitely have to, keep it in your head that it's a business. So if that's your sole income, then you can't. You definitely want to make sure the client's happy, but also keep in mind that you're running a business.
Yeah,
I'm
working on that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and see if there's any questions before we dive into the topic. Where we can hear you fine. On your arm also will work fine. Oh wow, it's good there.
Check.
Mic check. Javier Cardona. Do you know Javier? Because I think he mentioned you.
Javier, I believe.
We had this convo with Jeff. Hello. Let's see. I want to order some pizza now. Oh, the T2i was in 2010.
2010.
Jeez,
okay, so
okay.
like eight years was when I got my first like DSLR, and that's okay.
Let's see. I saw Pablo your concern. It says one of a story when me talking about how we met. It's a shame that here I don't have anybody to share this passion to use flashes, modifiers, high-speed sync. Here, almost all the photographers just use natural light. I
disagree.
I wanted to say that I kind of disagree in the sense that
I'll say it.
You say it. Okay, let's see what he says, and then I'll say what I say. I want to hear the dynamic, just in case we do have differing opinions. So.
I'm definitely easier with giving like harsh opinions
and
stuff, but I disagree. Like, there's got to be people that like that stuff.
Yes.
A lot of us artists like me, I've already told you, I'm terrible around people I don't know. I'll usually just hide in my house all the time, and it takes a lot for me to get out. So you mentioned in your deal with Eli, I believe the last week about like taking the initiative to just start your own thing. If you want to do a group shoot, if you want to meet other people, don't wait to find one or something. Just literally do it.
Yeah.
Put on maybe just do like a Facebook event. Or work with, I believe Eli was saying, you guys were saying work with venues or places where people do photos often. I'm just kind of repeating what you said before, but if people didn't hear it before, just start something. Even if you have you put all this work into I'm going to put on an event, and I'm going to invite anybody I know, friends. Hey, you tell your friends, anybody, I'm just going to do this group shoot. I have one person that's going to model for us, and maybe you get like one person that comes out that are like, this seemed interesting. That one person like me coming out of their shell and is like, I want to meet somebody and try something new. Well, there you go. You've grown by 100%.
Yeah.
And then do it again. Like, you start somewhere. But I guarantee, I can't believe that there's not anybody in your area.
Yeah, there has to be someone.
They're hiding.
Yeah, they're hiding, and then they need somebody to help create something. They're probably like you. Let's say, for example, they're in the same situation where they're thinking the exact same thing. I like high-speed sync and I like flash, but nobody shoots that here. You guys both don't know each other. Maybe if one of you created some sort of event where you highlight that you're going to be doing flash and high-speed sync, then you create some sort of event, you go to it, and then you discover each other. That's exactly what happened when it came to Jeff's situation and Eli's situation. We went to these events, I didn't make it, Eli didn't make it, Jeff didn't make it, but we went to these things and we were able to meet each other and, discover we had similar passions and stuff. So definitely don't wait for an opportunity, create the opportunity. So
you're bound to find somebody.
Yeah, you're bound to find somebody who enjoys it. And if they don't know they enjoy it, maybe they'll discover they enjoy it when you kind of show them. So
I kind of feel like too, you're just saying like everybody here uses natural light and whatever. I kind of feel like that a lot of that is kind of like the trendy thing. I'm going out there. It might be a little controversial, whatever, but I feel like that's just what all the cool kids are doing. It's like the hipster, like cool trendy thing. Get your camera and your little 35 mil and whatnot, and just shoot some natural light portraits and put some filters on it on your
You're gonna make Instagram. The natural light photographers mad.
Okay. That shoot I just came from a minute ago, I was doing exactly that. So I'm not one to speak. I did it, but I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of natural light photographers because that's like what's popular. That's what's in, and definitely nothing wrong with that. And doing off-camera flash, doing all that extra lighting is its own little world. But there's people around, and there could be people. Before I even went to that first meet that we went to, I didn't even know that's what I wanted to do. I just knew the look. I didn't know how to get there. So I was like a fan of high-speed sync. I was a fan of off-camera flash. I didn't even know it yet. I just needed somebody to like show me, oh, this is how I take this photo or something. I was like, oh, that's what I've been wanting to do this whole time.
Yeah. To kind of go from that, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast or maybe one live video that I've made. There's been points in my life, in my photography career, where I wanted to learn something. I just didn't know what it was called or the method in order to achieve that look. And then once I discovered even just the name of it, the name of the method, it was like, I was so appreciative. I was like a eureka moment. I was like, oh, that's what I needed to do in order to get that effect that I wanted. So, yeah, there's a lot of those moments, especially when you're starting off, that you're gonna feel.
Can you like think back to before when you're shooting, before you shot with off-camera flash, and like thinking about the information that you knew back then? You're like, man, I didn't know anything.
I can easily think back that far. I wanted to make a dedicated video to talk about my experiences, like my photography experiences. But I can easily, like, if you had a question, if you guys have a question about anything, like in the beginning stages, I can easily answer that. But
I still feel like I know nothing. So I'm trapped between this weird world of like, I don't know anything, and then remembering years ago, I was like, but I know so much more now than I did before.
Yeah.
But I still don't know anything.
But that's what it's about, like that growth. That you learn this, and you're going to learn something else and get better and better. I mean, you're better than you were when you just started out. Easily, right? Easily. So
what are people saying?
Let's see. How's your dodge and burn working out, FJ? Oh yeah, this guy 11 Studios. You gave me some great advice. I did watch the video by Chris Knight. It was enlightening. So I'm gonna change some stuff.
Was that a pun? Is enlightening?
Enlightening. So that was a pun. Yeah, unintentional maybe. But let's see. When am I coming to San Antonio? Whenever I have a free weekend. I wanted to come to San Antonio this past weekend, but the weather was going to be iffy, so I wasn't sure if I should or not. Let's see. It's already approaching 40 minutes, and we haven't talked about the main thing, so I'm going to go ahead and rush through these questions and comments.
Where I'm from.
Let's see. Hey, Roland. What's up, Roland? You're going to be my next guest if you're available. Let's see. I feel the same thing for high-speed sync. It's just what group you hang out with. I mean, here in the Valley, I feel we shoot way more high-speed sync than natural light nowadays. That's so true. I feel like the kind of dynamic, well, not so much the entire Valley, but there's like a certain group of people who enjoy shooting with off-camera flash, and they do tend to enjoy high-speed sync as well. So
I think it's all who you hang out with.
Yeah, it's exactly who you hang out with. I have a friend, Vanessa Tellez.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but she shoots awesome natural light. But I hang out with her occasionally. She moved now, but I don't shoot natural light. But even then, I was very interested in learning, different methods when I was hanging out with her. So maybe she would have converted me to natural light had she stayed in the Valley, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I would have converted her to high-speed sync. Who knows?
I don't know. Let's see. I think like yesterday, I came across somebody on, I think it's Instagram, because I found him from like one of the models I think we shot. I was like, oh. I was following him. That's a good shot. And I looked up who took that photo. I brought it up. It's like this photographer that I'd never heard of. I had no idea that are from here.
From here?
Yeah. Yeah, and they shoot like all the time.
He's gonna tell me afterwards after we're done.
I'll have to look it up who it is. But that just goes to show, like, even me being here a couple of years, thinking you know everybody. There's still people that you've never met in your own area.
Yeah,
that
it's
do
like
different stuff.
Yeah, like there was one point where I was researching a lot of photographers in my area because I was so nervous, and I was like, okay, I want to meet these people. And I actually did do that at the end of 2014, I believe. I met up for like a good 8 photographers in my area because I was like, you know what, I'm tired of shooting alone. I want to know more photographers. So I looked up photographers in my area, and I was like, okay, now I know who shoots here. But that's barely scratching the surface. There's people learning every single day or taking up photography every single day. So there's a lot of people that you may think you know, but there's also a lot of people that you may not know at all. And so you just kind of have to keep going, keep shooting, create those events, go to those photo meetups. Let's see. Roland.
I remember those days.
My friend Roland mentioned the fact that we used to shoot with alien bees and ND filters. That was that was a while ago. I learned I don't want to trash talk alien bees, but they're good. But there's a lot better strobes out there now.
It's just technology.
Yeah, technology is advancing, and if you
quick.
fall behind, you fall behind. Let's see.
One of my original big influences in photography, I believe his name was Kevin Russ. He would use, it took me a while, he would use alien bees back in the day, and he'd create these basically like high-speed sync looking photos, these daytime.
What's his name?
Those? Kevin Russ. He was from the Pacific Northwest, but he would shoot a bunch of bands.
I'll look him up.
And I was like so inspired by his photos, and it wasn't like till 10 years later that I finally figured out how he was taking those photos, and it's super simple now, but I didn't know anything back then. So it was like he was like doing black magic as far as I'm concerned with his photography.
It's black magic, the camera line. Like, what I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna mention, but I want to get on topic now.
Okay.
Let's talk about prime lenses. If you guys don't have any prime lenses, then you'll learn a little bit today. And let's see, I wanted to talk about the Sigma Art 105 1.4. I do want to ask you guys, are you interested in getting that lens? Is that something that you may get? I believe it costs $1,600. It is I'll swear right now, it is a lot, but it's something that I don't tend to invest in a lot of like lenses to that extent, to that amount of money. But 105 1.4, I've wanted that lens that focal length and that aperture since Nikon had released theirs, like, I don't know, a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe less than that. But I was super fan of that. One thing that I do like about prime lenses is that you're able to have like a really wide aperture. And I know that there's lenses like the Canon 200mm 2.0 that cost like an arm and a leg at $6,000. In my head, just because of the way I think, I'm like, it's still f2, but you have that compression from the 200mm that just blurs the heck out of the background. So, but I'm a fan of wide apertures. Like, I would love like an 85mm 0.95 if that exists. I don't think it does though, but that was there. But yeah, I'm really interested in getting that Sigma Art 105 1.4 because I don't think that aperture is available. That focal length and aperture are both not available to Sony, unless you like adapted the Nikon lens to Sony. But again, adapting specifically for Nikon lenses, adapting them to Sony is kind of like not ideal right now because there's no good converter for that. Canon lenses are a different story. You can adapt them very well and have very fast autofocus. But yeah, I've been really eyeing that focal length. And I don't know about you. Would you be interested in at least renting it or trying it out?
I think this is an area I'm probably not super knowledgeable in. I haven't really shot that focal length or anything close. I mean, I'll switch between probably the popular, like 90% of my stuff is 85mm. It's just a good all around lens, especially for portraits. And then I do use the 70-200 a bunch. So I don't think I've really spent any time with a prime lens higher than 85. So I'm out of the loop. I'll try it. I'd love to try it.
Yeah, I think to my knowledge, 85mm 1.4, that's a good lens no matter like what kind of company is making that lens. And I think further than that, like past 85mm, there's very little lenses that I can think of right off the bat that have an aperture of 1.4 or wider. Because there's some out there that like just want to be crazy and make a very wide aperture no matter what the cost. Like I want to say that one company is called Mitacon, and they have like a 50 millimeter 0.95. But when it comes to 85 millimeter and past that, I think the only thing that I can think of, unless you guys want know anything that I might not know, the only company that I can think of that has an aperture and focal length that's wider, like longer than that, is just Nikon with that 105 1.4. So I'm like very interested to see the how the photos come out with the 105 1.4 when I start to shoot with it, because it's like I don't want to say budget, but it's like the cheaper younger brother of like a 200 millimeter 2.0, in other words. And that's without one of the main cons of a 200 millimeter f2 is that you have to get really far. You have to get really far. So I think I'm gonna enjoy that 105 1.4, so that in the sense that I don't need to get as far, but still blur the heck out of the background if I wanted to. When I shot Canon, I used the 135 f2 a lot, and I do remember how far I would have to get. And when I started to shoot with the 85 millimeter, I would get a lot closer, and I was like, whoa, I can still blur the background, because again, 135 f2, you can blur the background because of the compression and that wideish aperture of f2. But 85 1.4, you have that wider aperture, which is a trade-off that you have, less compression from being 85 as compared to 135, but you still have that wide that blurred background because of the wider aperture. So it's like you're forfeiting some of the zoom, but you're getting a bigger aperture, a wider aperture. So it's like you still have a good amount of blur that you can get. So, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
Needless to say, you're going to be doing a video on it as soon
as
you get it. Whenever you get it.
I'm going to be doing a video on it, and I'm going to be comparing it to my 85 1.4 and maybe a couple other lenses that I'm going to just keep under wraps for now. So you guys can check out the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Let's see. Let's see. Jeff, beer and pizza review coming out next.
I think they're talking about my Facebook videos.
Yeah. Do you drink beer while you're doing the review?
No, I usually like pick a product or something to just review. It's really just me being bored. All right, here's my live review of Bud Light.
It's good.
No, it just tastes like Bud Light. But it does the job. Pepsi. If you're poor, drink it. Review done.
Let's see. The 135 1.8. Have I tried it? Have you tried it? No. I actually did own it for a little bit. I owned it. And I think that you were there at the photo shoot that I did with... You gave me the idea to go through like the bush area.
Yeah.
To get the wider...
Didn't it have the front element?
Yeah, it had a big front element. It was like 82 millimeter. Could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe it was 87 or something. I want to say 82. But I owned that lens for a while. And I was thinking that I'd get it. And it would be like something that... Because like my one true love when I shot Canon was the 135 f2. And I used it for a long time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get the 135 1.8. And it's going to remind me of that. It's going to spark that interest in that focal length and similar aperture. But one of the things that were the reasons that I took it back was because of the weight. I knew that was going to be heavy, but I didn't know that it was going to be something that I just didn't care for. Because sometimes I feel like I want a light body. That's why I have Sony. And sometimes I feel like that extra weight is going to help me with my shaky hands, because that's why I actually do have somewhat shaky hands every now and then. It's kind of like, it's just random. He's a drummer, so I don't know if that's something that you don't have, like you can't have shaky hands. Or...
I'm always moving.
But yeah. But I ended up selling it to a photographer who lives in Texas as well, who was gonna take advantage of that lens, like use it. In other words, I felt like I wasn't using it enough to own it, so I sold it. But I already know beforehand the 105 before is gonna be super heavy. I'm already anticipating it. I have a monopod that I'm going to be using, so I already know a lot about it. So there's not going to be no surprises. But if you guys have seen any of the sample photos from I think I've only seen one video from a YouTuber by the name of Ilko. What's his name? If you just search on YouTube, Ilko, ILKO, it's a photographer he's like a myriad of different things. He speaks English and Russian and Japanese. but he's Russian, but he lives in Japan, I think. I could be wrong. Ilko, if you're watching this, my bad. But he used the 105 1.4 in a video recently, and it looks insane. Like it's like blurred the background, but if you guys are familiar with the Brenner method, it looks like that, like straight out of camera. It's insane. Like I'm excited to get that lens. So, yeah, I don't know.
Being able to do those full body shots with everything like blurred.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that lens, and of course I am gonna make a video out of it. But if you guys are interested in getting that lens as well, let me know, or any other primes. There's like a lot of different primes out there. I did mention earlier before that you would learn a little bit about primes in this video, and I kind of, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but the main benefits of primes in general is that you're gonna have like a wider aperture than if you didn't have a prime. If you have like a lot of kit lenses, in other words, when you get a camera, is like 18 to like I started with the Nikon D60. That one was the 18 to 55. And then I got the Canon 60D, and that was the 18 to 135. And those lenses are nice and for good ranges, but you're limited in the aperture. So it's going to be tough to shoot in low light maybe. But yeah, so you definitely want to get a prime. If you don't have any primes, I definitely recommend getting at least a 50mm 1.8. That's something that a lot of people start off with when it comes to primes.
That was my first one.
Yeah, see, first prime. I think that was my first prime.
I think it's everybody's
first
it's like
prime everybody's, unless like you're like super rich and you want to get like the best gear, and you start with the 200 f2, which is insane.
My first lens.
But yeah, I definitely recommend primes. They're, for the most part, a lot of them are going to be sharp, not necessarily wide open. Like especially if you get the cheap 51.8, that might be sharper, like a f2.2, f2.8, maybe f2. But
still better than 4 and 4.5.
Yeah, better than those more narrow apertures.
No.
But
there is a question.
Am I going to Chicago? And no, I'm not going to Chicago anytime soon. I don't have any plans for that. But I was talking to another photographer about doing some different workshops around different areas. So follow me on Facebook, and you'll see where I'm going to be going. 105 1.4 or 70 to 200 2.8 for weddings. Which one do you recommend? Do you do a lot of weddings?
Not a ton. I wouldn't consider myself
more than one
wedding. I've done more than one. Everybody I'm sure has their own opinion. I would just straight up say 70 to 200.
Yeah.
Just because there's like, you're capturing all sorts of stuff going on here, there, everywhere, and like sometimes you need to be zoomed in, and you're like, oh, I want to get this group of people. And then you maybe have 2 seconds to get that shot.
Yeah.
Imagine you have a 105 f4 and you want to get the whole group, and then you just turn around and you start running 20 feet behind you because you got to get a wider shot, or maybe you can't because you're inside of a building and you're just going to run head on into a wall, or you just take that 7200 and just be like,
yeah.
Okay.
The main benefit of the 105 1.4 would be the wider aperture. But you definitely have to keep in mind that you're going to be stuck at 105. If you have a 70 to 200, you might have an aperture that's 2 stops darker, 2.8. But you will have that flexibility of being at 70 if you want to, or 200. So specifically when it comes to weddings, when you don't have the ability to move, sometimes you're limited in space. You're going to have the flexibility of that zoom, 70 to 200, so you choose whatever you want between that range. So
I feel like my limited experience in weddings, you definitely more heavily weigh the versatility and quickness, because everything's moving and nobody's just really gonna stop for you to take the photo, versus like the absolute best, most, like if you're gonna set up a photo shoot with models and you have control over everything, then sure, choose the coolest lens, whatever. But I think weddings, it's really all about run and gun and doing everything efficiently. Yeah,
that's a good point. And what I was going to say is that it's good that he mentioned that, because like he said, he might have limited experience, but I think that experience is still very knowledgeable and valuable compared to somebody who might not know anything about weddings and don't know, the sort of dynamic that you have to be working in. But like he mentioned before, when you have the flexibility and time to shoot and can kind of control the environment in like a portrait shoot, then that's going to be something where you'll be able to use those wider aperture, longer lenses, because you have the control. But weddings are definitely not in your control. You have to work with the wedding.
Yeah.
So it depends on, like, if you want to work in a situation where you have maybe like two cameras, one has the 105 1.4 and one has the 7200, then that is something that would be maybe possible. But I can guarantee you that you're not going to get that 105 1.4 and you don't want to shoot with it nonstop. You're going to want to use that 7200 because of the flexibility.
Raiden photos.
Raiden photos.
Yeah, well, he just mentioned he agreed with the 7200.
Yeah, because you can change the scene with primes. It is rough unless you're doing post stuff. Yeah, like there's that time in a wedding where you have to take the formals, and let's say you're in the big wide yard or something, then sure, then go ahead and use that 105 1.4, but 7200 is going to be more valuable. In my opinion.
And he was saying you'd run with a 24 to 70, get one of those like badass dual camera harnesses where you got one camera body with the 70 to 200, one camera body with the 24 to 70. That's obviously like the industry standard right there for very good reason. Yeah,
like he said, 24 to 70, 70 to 200. Those are like
everything's
the wedding lenses. I think there's one more. There's one. Okay, this one's iffy, but 16 to 35. That's like, I always hear of like back when I was starting, I heard of the Trinity lenses. The Trinity lenses. I was like, what the heck is this going on? What is the Trinity? And then that would be the 16 to 35 for the wide range, 24 to 70 to that mid to starting to get telephoto range, and then 70 to 100 for that more zoom in case you can't zoom on yourself with your feet. So that's like the perfect three lenses. But I think the 24 to 70 and the 70 to 100 are good two lenses. And if I had to choose one, because I know that might be a thought that might pop into your head, because of course, like anybody sensible person, you might not be able to have the money to get both lenses. Would you recommend the 7200 or the 24 to 70?
I've done just an entire wedding with nothing other than the 7200.
The 7200? Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay.
I've done the entire wedding with that, and nobody's complained. So can't be too bad.
Jeez. I personally would want to use the 7200, but I think like in the ceremony part, like not so much the ceremony, but the prep part, I think you would need like a wide. But again, that depends on where you're shooting at, because I feel like you'd have to like need a wide lens for like a small room. But did you shoot the prep, or did you shoot more of the ceremony or reception?
Just like just the event, like the.
Okay, yeah.
Not a lot of staged stuff. So
I think that's where the 7200 is going to be perfect for that. Mm-hmm. So 7200. You heard it here. Yeah. Get that lens if you don't have it.
Michael Hancock, his combo is the 35 and 85. So if you're doing like a prime lens combo, one on each hand, an 85 and a 35, sure, that's like
some good primes. Like I love primes, just because you have that wider aperture.
That would be my combo. Michael.
35 and 85? 35 and 85. Okay.
Actually, I might go I like a lot of wide stuff. I might go wider than 35.
Oh yeah, he has some really great wide shots. He like inspired me to want to take more wide shots when I first met him. Like the first photo shoot that I helped you with, I think he shot some wide shots, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool, because you can see more of the scene. And for me, that's exactly what I don't do a lot of times. When I shoot, I like blur the scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a lot of that. Remember I mentioned that Kevin Russ guy?
Yeah.
That's
wide?
That was his thing. He did a lot of these crazy wide shots with this like crazy high dynamic range. So that's always been like up in my brain to
shoot wide.
This is like I always thought it looked super cool. So
I'll get a wide eventually. I actually do have a wide lens. It's my only wide lens. I have the 14mm 2.8 by Rokinon, but it's a manual focus lens, and I tried using it for portraits, but I regret it because I missed focus completely. Not so much completely, but I missed focus, and that's something I don't want to do. So I definitely want to invest in like a autofocus lens for wide stuff. But I got that 14mm 2.8 because of a photographer that I was looking at and I was like really getting inspired by. he uses it, but he shoots more like landscape stuff.
Yeah.
But and that's of course with landscape stuff you have the time to focus and stuff. With portraits, I kind of want to work fast, and that's where autofocus is going to benefit me. So,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna cut the fat from like this hour. But if you guys are watching the video, then we're gonna keep going a little bit. But if you're watching you know, of course, if they're here in the podcast, I'm gonna cut this part off. So disregard that part. Let's see, 35 and 85 are great. 28 might be better for gimbal work though. Oh yeah, because it's gonna be not as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
My focus was on where the moments are. If it's close to me, I had the 24-70, so any little thing going on near me on a personal level distance, I nailed it. 35-85 combo and 50 for details prep and 7200 for ceremony and speeches. It's a lot.
Yeah. See, that sounds like a guy that shoots weddings way more often.
You have a bag with the lenses for the right job. Let's say, if like he mentioned before, he shot a whole wedding with the 7200. That's crazy, but I think that's good in the sense that you have that range still. It was 2.8 or f4.
2.8.
2.8. Okay, yeah. I was like f4. I was like, that's gonna be hard because you need the lighting.
Yeah, it is still tough. Like you got to start pushing the ISO at that point, which I don't like doing.
Yeah, I never really like doing that.
But you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Michael wants to know my Insta.
Oh yeah, Instagram. I'm gonna be updating the description with his Instagram. I didn't do that yet. Sorry about that. But what is it? Jeff
Antons Photography.
Jeff Antons. That's Antons. I think I have his name in the title. Jeff Antons Photography.
Jeff. Yeah. Jeff Antons Photography.
Yeah. So
easy to find.
Yeah, you guys can check him out. He has a lot of awesome work. I did a video with him before. I did a video with kind of like a 3 photographers shoot the same model kind of thing, but with off-camera flash. That's where I kind of wanted to make it special to that video. And his photo was easily the best. His photo is actually the one that's right behind us right now. It's a model that we live next to, or she lives here now. Yeah, it's a model that was awesome and wanted to help us out and do a photo shoot, and she was able to get that shot from it. And I love that photo. It has very dramatic.
A lot of drama.
So it was really cool seeing how you guys can check out the video on my YouTube channel. It's me and my friend Eli and Jeff, and we do the photo shoot. We kind of timed ourselves. Like we gave it like, I don't know how many, 4 minutes? Something like that?
We got a...
Shot. Thank you, F18. I don't know who that is. Let's see.
He's been
thank you. I want to say it's my friend Matt. Could be wrong. If you're not Matt, my bad. But you guys can check out that video. We timed ourselves and gave ourselves that time limit so we can work real fast. And our photos are going to be in that video. At the end of the video, we also talk about like some of the things some of the challenges from doing this. So, okay. I know that guy. He went to the meetup. Oh, okay. All right. 7200 was for details and moments across the room. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something where you want to zoom in. Mm-hmm. What's up? Well, we're doing this video.
And eating pizza.
I've not been eating as much as I should. What the heck? Anyways, whatever. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, ask them now. You can throw the hashtag in there, put hashtag QA, and then I'll be able to see it better because like it'll highlight the comment. But let's see. Have you guys got to play with the new Tamron 28-75 2.8? That's a good, it's good that you mentioned that because it is something that I've seen photographers. Have you kept an eye on that lens, 28-75?
No.
It's a Sony mount. It's Tamron's newest zoom lens, 28-75. And I believe the reason why they chose to do 28-75 and not 24-70 was because by making it 28-75, they were able to keep it lighter and small form factor. So that's a benefit of that lens. And it's also not as expensive. It's like, I could be wrong, but I think it's $700. Maybe it's $800. But for something that's f2.8 at 28-75, that it's a good range for $800 with autofocus. It's really good. The only thing that I saw bad about that lens is that I think it's like a 50-50 chance that you'll get a lens that works and one that doesn't. in the sense that if you want to do video, I think the focus stops working, and you have to remount dismount the lens and remount it.
That's messed up.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you don't want to have a lens that has that fault where you have to do that. So that kind of sucks. Testing. Is this working?
I think it's working.
If you guys can hear us, let us know. But it's because I usually see like a little level thing on there.
Where? Oh,
on the little block.
That hasn't been going up like that hasn't been going on the whole time.
Okay, no, yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, yeah, that lens, the 2875, is like one that's bringing a lot of attention because it's a Sony mount, native Sony mount. You don't have to adapt it, but you shoot. You don't have any.
I shoot so much Sony.
He still shoots a lot of. Well, you shoot nothing but Canon, right?
That's all I got.
You don't have. Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me borrow one of yours.
I do have some that you could use. A7RIII.
You missed. Somebody asked about what you're shooting with. I think you missed a question.
Oh, first slice of pizza. Ashley, what the heck? The heck? We live together.
Where is she?
Canon for life. She's like in the next room. But $800 and has autofocus issues. Yeah. See, that's where that lens is like. Yeah. But I hear that it's something that some people have a perfect lens that doesn't have any issues. Other people do have the issues.
Maybe a quality control thing.
Any macro lenses for a good price? To my knowledge, I don't know any. But what I did, which is something that I would recommend for you, is that there's these things called extension tubes that allows you to add. It's basically like an adapter. You put it to the back of the lens, and by doing so, because of lenses how they work, you're able to zoom in real close to whatever you want to shoot macro of. So for example, I had I have extension tubes. They go there's different parts like it's like different levels. In other words, you can have a small one, a big one, and a bigger one. When you put them all together, you can get real close to something that you want to shoot. And I did that a while ago because I wanted to shoot macro stuff, just to experiment with it. And it was a cheap way to do it. So extension tubes, you definitely want to check that out if you want to do macro work, but don't want to, sell a liver or something. So, because there are some expensive macro lenses out there.
Originally, I thought you were gonna say there's this thing out there. It's called Google. You can
No.
search for it.
No. That's again, like I mentioned before. There's some things that I wish I knew about, and when I discovered them, I was like, oh wow, eureka! But extension tubes was something that was recommended. And it was like a eureka moment because I was like, okay, cool. I wanted a solution that didn't cost a lot, but it allowed me to do macro, and that was one thing that allowed me to do that.
Makes sense.
Oh, wow. What the? Thank you for the tutorials, FJH. You're freaking welcome. Thank you so much for that. That's like the pizza right there, so that's cool.
Yeah, pizza's paid for.
And you guys should definitely, because I think I mentioned in my video of Eli, in my live video, you should definitely encourage Eli and Jeff to make YouTube videos. They have all the gear already. They have all the you have a lot of knowledge to share.
Thanks. I don't have a lot of gear.
No. Nobody has all the knowledge. Nobody has all the knowledge, but you have a good amount to share.
You know I have a YouTube channel, right?
But yeah, you don't.
There's one video.
Yeah, so you don't post as much as you
It's
should.
under that same Jeff Antons photography.
Jeff Antons photography. His name is in the. Yeah, he has all the stuff to do the videos. So make him do the videos.
I guess I just need that little bit of encouragement.
I see his work and I get inspired seeing that shot, but at the same time I'm like, that's cool. I want to learn that. I want to see a YouTube video, but there's no YouTube video. So
you want to know my ideas though? Okay, regarding YouTube.
You just want to say it. There might be some YouTubers out there who want to steal your ideas.
No. This is general in a general sense because I've thought about. I have a lot of free time. And photography is just what I do full time, and I've thought about the whole educational side of things or reviewing and all that, which I can do a little bit. I just feel like there's so many people doing it and doing a really great job. You do a great job at all of them, and I watch them.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like a very I love entertainment. If I'm making videos, honestly, I just want to do entertaining things. Like when we did the 3 photographers shoot the same model, I want to throw like that side of the videos, but like throw all these really fun, entertaining twists. There'll probably be some educational material, but
we can help each other out. You can come up with that, and then I'll help you film it.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
stuff.
I'm gonna need that. But I want to put together like more entertainment value videos.
I would love to see that. I love to be entertained. See, and then I have like these subscriptions that I go through every day. Like as much as I'm a YouTuber, I'm more of a content consumer.
Me too.
Than a content creator.
Every day.
Like I love just watching people's stuff, and I go through my subscriptions, and I'm like, ooh, who has a video? And I see like, and I really went through all the videos. I'm like, all right, I'll be patient for another day. Like,
yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the next video. So, yeah. So you could create the content while you're waiting for the next thing to come out. Next Netflix show. Okay, somebody donated, so I want to give a little bit of time to that.
It's Raiden.
Raiden.
He's been hanging out
Raiden
with us
Photos.
for a while.
What's up, man? Thank you for following along. Question for Ashley. So Ashley would probably type that, but maybe she comes in the room. Maybe she'll be able to answer you directly.
If you're here, come in.
Yeah, she's probably watching. If you want to come over here so you can answer the question. Raiden's asking, question for Ashley. How can I convince my wife to be as great as a helper with shoots as you? Was it something you were already interested, or did FJ convince you somehow? So that's a good question, because I do get asked that pretty often, because sometimes you might be in the early stages of a relationship, or even like later, like plus 20 years. But the kind of the dynamic that I have with Ashley is just a great one that I've been able. Ashley just wants a pizza. Let's see. Maybe you can. I don't know.
No.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna answer. This will be good for the podcast because she doesn't need to be on the screen. But I'm gonna go ahead and give her the mic, and then me and Jeff will just be chilling here. You don't have to put it super close.
Okay. Just bribe her with food. That's it.
Yeah, you have to whisper either.
Yeah, just I guess, yeah, bribe her with food or something that she likes, and try to find a time that's free that she has. Or find something that you guys both like and take pictures of that. I don't know.
So what if they have already eaten? So then what?
Then you bribe them with the, I don't know.
So let's go deeper. Let's go deeper than that, because I know there's people are gonna be interested in like, well, what if your wife doesn't feel comfortable around the person that you're gonna be shooting or something like that? What would your advice to that person be about how you? What did you experience? Like, not too long, but like what was something you experienced that you've kind of gotten over or dealt with, or, you know, I don't know. That question, yeah.
I just went with Joey. I just went with Francisco to his shoots, and once I was there and he talked to me about what he does, you know, what photography is about, how it goes about the process, and I slowly got comfortable. I mean, there's some times where I do feel a little bit self-conscious, but he comes with me at the end of the day, so we're okay.
No, for me personally, I tend to just kind of be very friendly with the person that I'm shooting, regardless of
as long as you're professional.
who. Yeah, I'm always extremely professional, but also really friendly. That's who I am. But I try to make sure that the person that I'm doing a photo shoot of is very comfortable. And I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that. Jeff? No.
I'm nice. I was trying to... we said, like, I think at the very beginning of this video, we mentioned about creating, like, a comfortable atmosphere, which is, like...
Break the ice.
Really super weird for me, because I get so awkward when I'm around people that I maybe don't know. I don't know what happens when I get with somebody to shoot photos. I think I just start nervous talking about random stuff. I don't know. I just do my best to just like talk and just, dude, I think I go into like a whole other mindset. I don't even remember shooting photos. What did I do?
You just went into the zone, and
I guess I was in a creative zone. I'm like trying to think of what I do when I do photos, and I can't even think.
Something that they like Disney, like that one.
Yeah, I think for the most part, when it comes to me specifically with Ashley and stuff, I don't know how other photographers talk to the people that they shoot. There's some photographers that are just straight up creepy sounding. I'm not gonna mention any names out there, but You might know who I'm talking about, people out there. But there's some people out there who just talk to the models that they're shooting or client that they're shooting, like honey, sweetie, these kind of like pet names. Weird. And it just kind of creates a weird dynamic. Even if the model doesn't say anything at all, even if they're telling you that's fine, that's name's fine, you know, they might be not comfortable at all, and they just don't want to say it there and kind of make this shoot weird. So for me personally, I tend to always be as professional as I can and call them by their name. I always like, hi, my name is Francisco.
Explain what you're gonna do.
And I kind of just keep it very friendly. Like if their name is Karina, that's the latest model that I shot with. My latest video was with the model by the name of Karina. I'm like, hi Karina, you know, my name's Francisco, and you know, we spoke, and then I also asked her, I'm like, what do your friends call you? Is it Nina? Is it Karina? Is it something else like that? You know, I want you to feel comfortable with whatever I'm calling you. I don't want to be like calling you Karina and you feel like weird.
Or invite their friends.
Oh yeah, or invite your friends. At that shoot that I did, Karina's friend was there. I'm getting a little bit off topic. We're talking about wives and stuff helping out. To kind of sum it up, I was extremely professional. Yeah. So that's all you have to do, really. And honest. Yeah.
Do you know what I do a lot of the time?
What?
I invite other photographers to come, and I make it like a small group shoot.
Yeah.
I'll ask the model or someone that wants to shoot, like, hey, do you mind if I have like another photographer? And then it's like everybody benefits. I'm more comfortable because I have somebody else to like throw ideas off of.
Yeah.
Eli that was here last week. I shoot with Eli like a lot. He lives really close to me.
Yeah, you guys live very close.
If I'm doing a shoot, I'm like, hey, Eli, are you doing anything? And then I invite like another photographer to come shoot, and we just it's a lot better having like multiple people.
Yeah, I think I've experienced that sometimes. There's been I'm pretty comfortable shooting by myself now. But like there's been times where I'm doing a shoot, and honestly it depends on every single photo shoot. Sometimes I'm on the ball, sometimes I'm not. And those times where I'm not, I wish like I brought like a friend, a photographer, just to kind of fill in that space where I'm thinking of stuff and I'm having to come up with like different locations or different poses or different ideas when it comes to lighting. And it does help to have another photographer there to shoot with. And if you guys are thinking, oh well, you guys have each other. Again, you kind of have to go out and create that friend. You have to go to these group meetups and get to know people and really kick yourself to be more outgoing, I guess, if that's a thing. Because I definitely was never a person that was outgoing, and now I am. So, yeah. And Jeff's pretty cool.
Thank you. You're cool too.
Let's see. I didn't miss something.
We missed some stuff.
Yeah, we missed some stuff, but Joseph I don't want to butcher your last name. Joseph C. It's awesome. I remember speaking to you because of the username. Somebody else mentioned CGMZ. You mentioned that you messaged me on Instagram. I'll get back to you as soon as this video is over. Let's see. I'm always behind the camera on vacation and she doesn't like it. Lieutenant Deadeye. My wife wants her picture taken. Nobody to help. Again, that's something that I think is kind of like the mentality. Of course, you might have, like, your wife has a friend, or your wife has a sister, or a mother, or some sort of family member or friend that would be able to help. I think it's just more of like, you might have to bribe them. Like, oh, I'll take you to the movies, or I'll buy you food for if you help out. Chick-fil-A. Something. But yeah, I think there's always gonna be a situation where you have that thing that you didn't think you would have. And I think that makes sense. Let's see. That right there. I think she worries about feeling self-conscious. I think the bribe might work though. LOL. I just need to get her out there so she can see my work like you guys did. Yeah, that's very true. I think if Ashley didn't come to my photo shoots, then it'd be more like what happened, or wondering what. Go live on Facebook. Or you can go live on Facebook like I do, but I don't think everybody usually does that. But yeah, you kind of have that sense of what happened, what if, or not in the negative sense, but just out of curiosity. And then if you're there, if the wife is there or something, then it's just different. But I think what helps if, not so much in a controlling relationship, definitely not that, but like if you take a video and send it to your wife and be like, oh, this is what we're doing, this is where I'm at, then I just think it creates like a situation where it's like you put your mind at ease. even though it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It sounds like it's bad, but it's not. I just tend to be very open about where I am, and no matter who I'm talking to. So yeah.
But after a while, it gets better.
Yeah, after a while, if your wife does feel that, it's normal, but it gets better with time, I guess. But let's go to the next topic because I think we're almost done now.
I think you missed some stuff up.
Let's see.
Further.
Up here. Briber of food. Somebody said to throw this hat on you.
Do I magically become a Sony user? Throw me a camera.
Let's see. There's a camera over here. Give me one of the cameras in there.
In here?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That one. That's my baby right there. The A7RIII with the 85 millimeter 1.4. Right there.
Sony, are you watching? How do I look?
He has the Sony hat on with the 85 and the A7RIII.
This could be your new poster boy.
Oh my
your
god.
the new face of Sony. Here. Call me.
Call me. Let's see if I missed. I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of these last questions, and then aside from that, we'll be done here. Let's see. That's what we do. We invite each other. Yeah, exactly. My friend Roland, who's in the comment section right now, I shot with him many times, and we still shoot today. So find some friends and then shoot with each other, and just keep it open like that. But definitely keep in mind that you should tell the model that there's gonna be another photographer there, just so that you can balance ideas off of. Try to keep it professional. You don't want to say this. You don't want to say, I'm inviting another photographer, because there's going to be some points during the photo shoot that I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to make you look good. That's exactly what you want to avoid. You got to make it into a positive. Be like, I'm inviting another photographer who I tend to shoot often. We're friends, and we tend to balance ideas off of each other. And would you be fine if he shot with me during that photo shoot? He's a good photographer, or he has a good style that I think you would enjoy, so you can get the benefit of having my style and his. Just spitball. Make it sound good, so that they're not like, oh, I don't want another photo shoot or photographer there. Just
definitely ask.
Yeah, ask. You don't want to surprise them.
I've had actually a lot of models that they don't really shoot very often, and there's, as you mentioned, there's a lot of like kind of creepy people.
Yeah.
So they're like, I may message them or they may hit me up, and it's kind of the story of I don't really shoot much, but I'm okay shooting with you. I've seen your work. I've heard about some of the stuff that you do.
True.
Reputation is so important in this whole realm of what we do.
Yeah.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
And it will help you out so much.
Don't be a creep.
And then if you do shoot with somebody, don't automatically assume they'll be okay with somebody else, because they might only be comfortable with you and only you and nobody else.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to just, for one thing, you don't want to shoot with a photographer one time and then be sort of cool, and then you don't know how they'll go and be at another photo shoot. So, yeah, just have a little bit of common sense in that regard. But okay, I think that's it. We're already done, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I do want to keep this thing like a series. I want to do this every week. I am going to be out of town next week. I'm actually going to be doing a photo walk in New York. I'm going to do 3 photo walks. One's on Thursday, the 28th, I believe. And then I'm going to do another 2 on Saturday, the 30th, June 30th. So if you guys are in the area, go ahead and spread the word or attend. I'll be posting links to those meetups and photo walks on my group. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was, what is it called? Portraits, Pizza, and Photography. This is episode 2 with Jeff Antons. Jeff Antons, JEFFANTONS. I don't know why I'm saying it, even though I'm going to have his name in the title and description. But yeah, right there. Amazing photographer. He lives in my area. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode? Podcast?
I won't, but he will.
Yeah, I'll be here. Jeff will not. So I'll put a picture of Jeff in the back.
Okay. I'll hold you to that.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.